All right. I think we're good. Yep. And we're filming. So hey guys, and welcome to Let's Play Comic Island, which I guess is
Hello and welcome to Playing on an Island.
Playing on an Island. As you all know, Comic Island is run by 3 Canadians who are holed up on an island named Comic
Trapped
Island.
against their will.
Trapped against their will, and we are the pinnacle of civilization because we have to
And
press
culture.
a button every
The
42
pinnacle of
minutes,
culture in Canada.
or else the world ends. And we don't know what the button does.
We just know that if we don't play Heroes of the Storm, we might die.
Yep.
And that's why you can never go to work again.
People think that we're just some YouTube channel. That's just what we do on it.
Between shifts.
Yeah.
We
between
have,
shifts.
we have to play this game.
Yeah. It's that, and same thing with the videos. I have to do that. It's all just part of this strange series of
Events.
events that we have to complete in order to keep the world on turning.
Leading up to our untimely deaths at a young age.
Yeah.
Caffeine overdose.
Because that's my biggest struggle, is I make these YouTube videos and I stress myself to death over them. Just why they're of such outstanding quality.
And then you get things like the One More Day Spider-Man episode.
Yeah.
When our stress just reaches a peak.
And I have a mental breakdown on
Are
TV.
you ready?
That was fun, but that was rough.
That,
That actually hurt, was hilarious.
I just remember coming home from work and you were definitely had a few drinks.
Yeah.
It was like 5 o'clock.
Nobody questioned whether or not that was real.
The battle begins in.
Oh, I can
10
vouch that was real.
seconds.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's what I'm saying. Like, nobody.
5, 4,
I remember that was great too because you bought a case of beer and only drank about 2 of them because you were drinking all the liquor.
we cannot
Oh,
So
yeah.
there was beer in the fridge when I got home.
Well, I had bottles and like a 2/6 of whiskey, so I just went with like a 6-pack.
You
of
went,
beer.
yeah, you went crazy.
I got that was mostly just for a scene where I could just drop a bunch of like things out on the.
On Jeopardy, Adelo.
Well, so that was a solid introduction there.
Yes.
Solid start too. And yeah, so hopefully our audio levels are a little bit easier this time. I'm actually, I was thinking about it, and I'll be able to probably like just start converting these videos if I need to edit them and stuff. So hopefully this recording will come out a little better.
Hey, how crazy would it be if one of these guys we're playing or playing against watched this podcast later and was like, "Whoa, I was on that. They filmed me without my consent."
Yeah. Well, they're playing on a public server. It's just like kind of being out in public and getting caught on camera. It can happen.
What was I gonna say? Yeah, that would be pretty funny.
That would be good. It's very possible. Over time, if any of the names are sticking right here, they're more than welcome to. Like, if our viewers want to invite me, and if they want to join in, like they can't really be a part of the recording, but they can.
The first shrine will be active soon.
You can get killed in the background, like a horror movie.
Be on a Comic Island video. I surrender. They're being rude.
It is done.
Yeah, as long as you're not rude,
Activate the
you have to
shrine,
let us win.
Defeat its guardians, and the Punisher will be
Yeah, if
stopped.
you're on the other
Oh
team.
man,
That's
that
just
looks
a game.
bad. Better hit up a back.
So, I suppose we can start talking about things. And the first thing we're going to talk about is the new announcement that BBC is picking up another Marvel show called
Damage control.
when I mentioned that topic to you, I think you put it nicely with a question that's going to be on many of our viewers' minds. What is damage control?
What is damage control?
The newest segment of our Let's Play videos, which is going to really have a short longevity period, but
Karaoke television news.
yeah. So damage control is basically referring to a team that at least at one point existed in Marvel. I have no idea where it was set up. But the idea is that they were the guys who would clean up their superhero fights. So there's always collateral damage when whenever there's a superhero battles and kill him.
Excellent. We have summoned a frozen
Like when Spider-Man pulls a building down on top of Dr.
I
Octopus.
suggest we take
And
this
so
risk.
those guys would be the ones who would kind of step in. And it was kind of an interesting part of like so they had like $1 billion insurance deal with New York because they would have so many superhero battles.
You know,
So-
funnily, that's probably not even enough.
yeah, like it is. This was about 10 years ago, so that probably was about right then. But it sounds like even like low now.
Our Punisher has fallen before the enemy.
Well, what was that damage assessment that came out after the first Avengers movie from the scene in New York? You know what I'm talking about?
I didn't know they did that. I can
Oh,
only
you haven't
imagine.
seen that, really? Yeah, somebody, like some insurance company or individual who's an insurance person did like a mock-up of what the damage would cost.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous. It was like $10 billion. Like, it's something where it's like
can
there's
believe that,
no
too.
coming back from it, you know? Unless Tony Stark can pick up the tab.
Probably exactly how they would have put it too. Like explain away if they helped me.
I wonder how much money he actually has. Like, if that would put him bankrupt, like a couple of those incidents.
I have seen very interesting like photographs where they calculate the net worth of each superhero and what would happen to
Rise
afford all their
again.
stuff. Tony's was I think the second or third highest, next to Doctor Doom, who is first. Lex Luthor was second, and then
So
Batman
be
was
it.
preposterously high too. And it's in the
Yeah.
order of like trillions for a good amount.
Wow.
Doom in particular, because it's like the wealth of a nation behind him, basically, is insane.
Right.
Like it's the super amount. And probably a realistic amount. Like it fits in with the way comics tend to illustrate.
No,
It's
that's
always
true.
The most whatever.
I suggest we take this
I know
risk.
that's
Best
what
tech.
Stan the Manly used to always like about Dr. Doom is that he wasn't really a bad guy. He was just
power.
a leader of another country that wasn't yours.
Yeah.
A lesson that many Americans could learn.
Activate the shrine. Do
You
not let
kind
our
of
enemy
expressed mixed
claim the
feelings
Punisher's power.
when you heard it was going on ABC, as did I. If this was a Netflix show, I think we'd both be a little more.
Oh, okay,
this
cool.
This is gonna be awesome. Like it doesn't automatically make it great, but that would sure be promising because there's a lot of advantages
Choose
to
a
Netflix
talent.
and because it's on ABC. Like you can assume the budget's probably gonna be a bit more limited. There's a lot less they can do in terms of censorship and all that.
Vala in trouble.
Indubitably.
Oh, I made it.
And just a few other
Punisher,
differences between
fire
like,
murders
broadcast
upon
and
the
Netflix.
demon's
I guess they're
forces.
obvious, so you won't get them all at once. But it's kind of neat that some of
Such daring.
I personally love it because you know how infrequently I sit down to watch a television show. I still haven't finished Daredevil. I know, I'm terrible. And how much did I talk about that show before it came out, too?
That's true. You're more excited about it than I was.
I know. It's a little different than I had hoped, and not in a bad way. It's a little more drama than I had thought it would be.
Fair enough. And I do get what you're saying. It was very heavy on that. And I was
Yeah.
kind of surprised by that. A lot
Which
less-
is kind of fair, because I guess Daredevil is probably not a household name to most people.
a lot less
There is strength.
No, I think bringing Frank Castle in the second season will be pretty neat too.
You know who's playing as him too?
Yeah, the guy from The Walking Dead, Josh something or other.
Yeah, I thought that was
Enemy slain.
I suggest we take
he's a
this
What was his
risk.
name on The Walking Dead?
Shane.
Shane, that's it.
Rubbing his bald head and getting killed
For the frozen.
His death was a good scene.
in the show. Yeah.
In the book, too.
Yeah, I was gonna say the book there's a lot less. Like it felt like it had a much more bigger impact in the show because he was around.
Right, yeah. But that was the point too, where spoilers if you haven't read like the first arc of The Walking Dead or whatever, but you find out that they're all gonna turn to
I
zombies,
suggest we
regardless
take
of whether
this
they've been
risk
bit.
into account.
I don't think you find out that early though.
No, that's when you find out, remember? Because he gets up and he's like, "Arr!" And they're like, "What? I just killed you. You haven't been bit."
I could be wrong, but I think you
Yeah,
find that
right.
out at the prison.
I'm pretty ssure that's the scene,
Because
but
in the TV
it might have got
show,
scrapped.
that's where they find
TV
out.
and
Is
book.
when they kill
Yeah.
Shane.
Oh, is it different in the book? Am I misremembering?
I'm pretty sure in the book he gets like shot in the head, or it's implied that he gets shot in the
Box.
That's a very specific number. I could be wrong.
It might be.
Like, he mattered a lot last time.
I'm sure somebody will listen to
Another
this and let us
shrine will
know.
be active soon. Do not let our enemy claim it.
Of course, when we put this up, we have yet to publish the other video, so we haven't really had a chance to respond to any of all this.
You're getting a twofer!
Well,
The Punisher on our foe.
this one's going to be a lot longer.
Double kill.
This time we don't know.
We're playing tough characters. I've started drinking.
Courage, mortal.
Yeah. Yeah, you're more fun like that.
Well, I really liked our Fantastic Four video where we're just basically like getting drunk together.
The Fantastic Four. Don't need no more. That was a good theme song.
Well done.
You just-
There's not
We
much
have
else to
summoned
say
an
about
arcane punisher from
It
the
is one of those
depths.
things we'll have to judge it when we see it.
You're optimistic, but
Cautiously optimistic.
who thought Heath Ledger would be good as the Joker?
Yeah, exactly. And there was a lot about Dark Knight. I remember when Batman Begins
The
came out,
force
we
of
all saw
hell
that
have
Batmobile
no
and
place
thought it was
here.
very stupid looking. But
Choose a talent.
I get it, but yeah, I agree with you.
I did get it, but I was like, oh, that's not really how I thought of Batman.
Still worth
Military
it.
guy kind of thing? Is that what they're going for? It wasn't really what they were.
It makes sense why they would develop a car that looks like that as opposed to like a sleek fucking drive on the roads engine. You know what I mean? But
Once you actually see the movie, it makes a lot of sense.
yes, yes. But I agree, it's not what you imagine the Batmobile would look like from page to screen.
Yeah.
I suggest
They did a
you
good
take
job with
this
that.
mercenary camp.
That would be a cool thing about this Superman movie that I have zero expectations for, is
Yeah.
if they had a cool Batmobile.
And honestly, like, people get down on me for they express similar lack of hope for Superman versus Batman. I almost called it Man of Steel too, which is kind of what it is.
You mean The Dark Knight Returns?
Um,
I'm teasing.
and yeah, Dark Knight Returns 3. And
Remix! Oh, that was
part of
awful.
the advantage to that is it's kind of a useful way to approach Zack Snyder. It's surprising that way.
That's true. So here's a question I have for you, sir. Can these lovely viewers at home see? Do they see your screen?
Yeah.
Good, excellent. So they didn't just see that disaster of a death I had.
Nope. Only when you're in my range. They
Excellent.
basically exclusively see what I see and they hear us overseeing.
Fantastico. Do they hear the game as well?
They hear the game a little bit, yeah. It's kind of loud. But I think I kind of corrected it, so we should.
Sorry, kids like loud things.
Kids like loud things. Especially for this game, I don't mind. We don't really have to worry too much about Blizzard for like copyright or anything.
They'll probably love it.
Even not some
gathers
games, they're still
within a
like
shrine.
that.
We're promoting this. Look at how much fun it is.
Look, I have fun playing this game. I don't mind that either. Like, this is a nice, fun game for us to play while we talk about these things. So,
You know what's
yeah.
hilarious is later I will watch this video probably on YouTube just because I'm that narcissistic,
Of course.
and I will see it looking much better than it looks currently because you have your graphics way higher than mine.
That will probably be fun. See yourself when you're
Oh, what is this?
Show its
take notes on your own
guardians your
gameplay while we're
resolve.
talking about whatever.
I was reading. I subscribed to the Heroes of the Storm Reddit, and I was reading all sorts of like looking for members for my. They don't call it a clan, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Sports team, and they were talking about how you gotta be able to practice 3 times a week, and we watch our replays and go over it. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is like a. Why did I just say oh my gosh? But this is like a hockey team or a football team or something. You know what I mean? Watching your replays, watching the next team you're playing's replays. Like,
People take this stuff seriously. You can't even really fault them for it. Well, It is funny though, 'cause, like we don't
Frozen Punisher has joined
No,
us
but I have played this game way too much this weekend.
I'm just training that. Right now. Be careful though. You don't want them testing like steroids or Adderall or anything like that.
Actually, I was so excited I have to go away. I thought it was a day for work. Turns out it's 5 days. So I was like, alright, whatever. Every day I'm gonna come home and play this in the hotel and just play the hell out of this. And then it turns out there's like after hours activities and team building stuff and all this all garbage. And I was just like, no, I can't play Heroes of the Storm.
That's fine. Oh,
Professional development, I'm here for Blizzard.
you guys are gonna be paying for me to go into this hotel.
If you guys are putting me up and paying my food and all this stuff, the least you can let me do is play video games.
An excellent tank.
And they just got
Tankiest
swept.
of
Our
tanks.
Punisher has been defeated.
Anyway, so that's enough about not talking about damage control. Let's not talk about Telltale Games. So I saw like they had posted something that they're up to a lot these days. So I figured we'd just kind of go through everything that's on their horizon.
List everything.
So right now they have Back to the Future.
Faster.
They're remastering for PS4. There's the Minecraft Story Mode, which comes out next week. There's the finales of Tales of Borderlands and Game of Thrones, which are also coming out this October, apparently.
Choose a talent.
Depending on how you read into their tweets. And they have a deal with Marvel for next year or the year after, and an original IP, Walking Dead Season 3, and potentially even The Wolf Among Us Season 2.
Oh, really?
I actually think I got that out pretty quick. So Telltale is doing very well for itself and has a lot of really
I
exciting
suggest
things
we
on the
take this
horizon.
mercenary camp.
A lot of those things I posted are kind of like rumors or stuff they've been hinting at, but very promising stuff.
I would love to play The Wolf Among Us Season 2.
I was really happy. They haven't confirmed that. They kind of said that they can't say anything, and that's not really a no, which I realize isn't much, but like
A
they didn't have
shrine
any
is gathering power. Such
horizon. No news. Well, soon, but both
have courage, mortal.
It was.
Remain.
Has Comic Island done a Fables episode?
No, and we kind of need to. You know what's funny is I've yet to.
Uh-oh,
get a
right now
request for
everyone's
it.
like, what's Fables? I've never heard of it. I wish I would talk about it.
And claim the Punisher's power in the high heavens.
That's right, sir. Kind of a secret thing.
Kind of. My only problem with Wolf Among Us is that it's very different from Fables, the book.
But it was still fun.
Oh, absolutely. That game's awesome, and you should play it regardless. But it's kind of standalone from the rest of the universe, I guess you could say.
We have summoned
In the same way, I guess The Walking Dead is.
That one also
Established
deliberately
has
exists in
characters.
another universe, so like anything that happens in Wolf Among Us isn't necessarily canon. So
And The
you
Wolf Among Us is kind of the main character, so yeah, I take that back. But
Yeah.
read Fables, kids, and just ignore the crazy analogies.
But I don't know. I really like this company. I think that their approach to video games, where it's like storytelling first, and really gameplay, it takes such a tertiary role.
It really does. It's like an interactive film.
Yeah, and you haven't like they're getting better in a lot of ways.
They really are.
Tales from Borderlands to date is my favorite of their iterations.
I
And,
have played it.
it's amazing.
Good game.
Great one. But yeah,
My thanks
it's the
to
first
you.
time they've done one that the real focus really is on comedy, which isn't to say there isn't any drama there, but it definitely plays up for laughs more than anything else, and it's hilarious. they kind of took from Borderlands, like, because Borderlands spends a lot of time like picking out good songs and having a solid soundtrack and that sort of thing. They preserved that, so each episode has had like this big musical intro and like amazing songs going with these brilliant scenes. It's really been something else.
That's cool. Like a progression.
Yeah. So I've been really enjoying them lately. I'm looking
Excellent.
forward to seeing what comes next for them. Minecraft story mode is an interesting
Are you
one.
going on random?
Yep.
How am I supposed to pick based on you if you're going random?
Well, I just have to have a general quest at this point, so you can be anyone. Anyone
All
at
right.
all. And the game will reflect your decision making. Well,
I'm gonna have to go pour myself another drink, Ray. Let's listen to, here's a plug, the Trailer Park Boys podcast today.
Oh yeah?
That was quite fantastic.
That's cool. I feel like a lot of our viewers probably haven't heard of Trailer Park Boys.
What? I
Whoa.
feel like we should spend a few seconds just to help out some fellow countrymen here.
Yeah, and I was gonna say we can tell them a little bit about it because
Trailer Park Boys is the best show that if you haven't seen it, you've never seen,
right.
and
well,
is a essentially ad-libbed comedy show about what it's like to live in Eastern Canada in low-income rural areas.
yeah, but I guarantee you, if most of our viewers who aren't Canadian probably haven't heard of them too much.
I think anyone from
Maybe-
Ireland or Australia may have.
Okay, or I was gonna say like some Americans, I'm sure.
Select parts of the Americas, I'm sure, yeah.
Like people even just like if they have Canadian friends or relatives and stuff. But it's
But if you're a kid listening to this, don't go watch that show.
no.
If you liked FUBAR, you would love the Trailer Park Boys.
I
Yeah,
would prepare
or,
for your
Like
ceaseless
Spinal Tap, I
battle.
feel is kind of in the
Yeah.
same vein
Wish to
because it's
live,
filmed like a documentary. But, like,
If The
crazy.
Office didn't have enough drinking for you,
Yeah.
Some
But
if,
really,
if you couldn't relate with The Office because you're unemployed and live in a trailer, Trailer Park Boys is for you.
it's a fun show, and it should be on
10
Netflix.
seconds.
Certainly, it's on a Canadian Netflix, but it shouldn't be that hard to find clips of it and
5,
stuff.
4, 3, 2.
I'm gonna be
Very funny show.
overzealously type chatter in this game.
Think.
Let's do this, gang!
I will
Ready
take
for
on
adventure.
with my bare
I talk to the summer student at my work sometimes who's an awkward 17-year-old like Mickey Mouse.
Oh, fun.
I'll
Come on, Andy! Let's do it! Ooh!
See you at the game photo.
Ooh! Go on, Chad and cool! Oh, maybe I should start laying some gross tumors that come out of my butt.
Creeping cigar, huh? Creeping along.
Hey, at least she's anatomically correct. Blizzard was not willing to shy away from that.
Yeah.
You're a man uncomfortable with a Zerg woman's body? This game's not for you. They also watched a little film called Teeth, I think, before they designed that character.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pardon,
I
it's
don't
like
even know what to say.
subject. Holy smokes. Need to run. You are need to run.
How's my character likes to drink?
Go heal.
I don't even feel sick.
I haven't even been drinking. You know, another great show is I've started watching again recently is King of the Hill. That is
My magic flow.
it's one of those shows you start watching again and you're like, oh yeah, this is like on par with The Simpsons.
Not let these mortals.
They had a good long run too.
Did. I watched one the other day where a very right-wing lady on Hank Street is trying to outlaw Halloween, and she convinces Luann Halloween's evil, and yada yada yada. So Luann starts quoting scripture at Hank, citing why Halloween's evil, and Hank goes, "Yeah, well, you know my favorite scripture? Go home, Exodus." Then he goes, "Luann, every time you open your mouth, you say something even stupider than the last time."
You will.
I love
I
He
do
has-
like that episode because I remember him very vividly dressing up as the devil with like little pajamas.
I'm
And then she opens the door. She's like, "Ah, Satan! It's a Halloween costume."
I'll put it on
Yeah,
your tab.
that's good. You know what show you and all our viewers still need to watch? Is Rick and
Choose
Morty.
a talent.
You know what?
For 100 years.
Scenes of it, and it is very funny. I sent you that photo of the ad. That was pretty good.
Yeah, that was cool. I've seen like 3D ones like that before, but I did like the, I don't know, the detail. That is like the spaceship. Doesn't surprise me.
Choose
Nope.
a talent.
And I'm in big trouble again. Wow, I'm having a bad game. I'm gonna change lanes. Look, you died right before her, in her arms.
Our panda brethren are slowly going extinct. Because they want our sweet, sweet ivory tusks.
Or was it this way?
I just remembered a conversation we had about Lily the other night.
Yes.
I will go
So-
this way.
I think that's about it for Telltale. That's all I really had to say is other than like they're doing really well. Oh right, and Minecraft. I don't know how I feel about Minecraft. I've never really.
Wait, what?
Yeah, they're doing a Minecraft game.
That's weird.
It is weird, but I don't know. I got expectations. This company that they do how to go about things. I
Yeah,
actually will
I've never
probably
played.
try. I have zero interest in Minecraft itself, but so far the game has done a good job at making Borderlands interesting for me, which I never was really into.
Right, I forgot you didn't like Borderlands.
Many
It's
thanks.
mostly I just like the gameplay was never for me, and I've only really played it like split screen on an Xbox, so it's not really that ideal.
It's not like it was split screen on a PS3.
Well, in either case, like I don't know, like if I was playing on my co-op, then I'd have a better opinion of it.
Soon they shall pass.
Are you saying split screen on my Xbox isn't good enough for you?
If you're like old TV and stuff, it wasn't.
Ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here. Split screen on Xbox is not good enough for Arden.
It pretty much isn't. Split screen is so tough to deal with these days.
It was an
you know?
Xbox 360, by the way.
360. Same.
It's
difference.
360. Okay, we gotta get this temple.
I'm ahead in there.
Gentle people. I'm 0-2. I'm embarrassing myself here across the world fight. Across the intranet.
All of you without judging you. When they can see
All the way from Brazil to
At least it's
Australia to Russia to
you. We do actually have viewers all over.
North Korea.
Maybe not North
Maybe you do have North Koreans. You don't know that.
Korea. Viewers in like
I'm up.
Maybe they just are using Tor and it looks like they're coming from Germany.
Britain, Israel, like
I think I will go this way.
You have stolen enough of my temple's power.
Who is watching at the South Pole?
the people at that little research base.
Really? One of them is watching you?
Adventure
Oh, you're being facetious.
That'd be great.
I was gonna say,
greeting from the Vegetable Basin.
That's pretty cool. Should get him to do some plugs or something.
That would be fun. But the International Space
Hi,
Station.
I live on the South Pole.
no, I
I
did
spend
that
most of
thing
my
again.
time fighting for survival, but what little free time I have is watching Comic Island.
I accidentally jumped over the gate again. Chen's misadventures. Yeah, so I don't know. It's a company that really invests in the story, and they're not necessarily like they've made the best games I've ever played and stuff.
I'm up.
They definitely
I'm
would be
up.
in the top 10 at this point.
Oh, gladly.
Especially because like a lot of the other choice heavy games I've really been kind of getting tired of lately, like BioWare and stuff like that.
Oh,
Although Dragon Age Inquisition was excellent.
I never actually finished Dragon Age, eh? I got right to the end game and then
You know, that's where I stopped to.
that was like April.
That part is very frustrating, and then as soon as you stop, it's like, well, I'm no longer at my peak of ability. And it's that final boss.
Decent.
I got a new job and I was super busy and
When
just
in
kind of
position is finally
it's
coming, I finally like sat myself down and did it. It's a pretty cool game, but I don't know. Those games, like, Telltale really is good at it. I don't think other games
that is true. Huh, take that, Karen. Your swarm has turned on you.
Oh no, what happened here again?
Now the rest.
Just fell down, you can't get up.
Sarah Kerrigan was left to die again.
That is almost interesting.
Well,
Your enemy has destroyed a
Oh, there's a
fort.
forest, or there's a temple.
Where did you get that spider?
Oh, I think you just reach a certain level or something.
I think
And
it's time
scans
for some
spider.
move.
Actually, it's just another mountain.
It's not actually
Yeah,
called
it's Zagara.
Fancy Spider? Is that what you're saying? Yeah. Zagara can float on the balloon. But that's more than Falstad has.
That's true. Although he would look weird riding the griffin, riding something else.
What do you think about the Griffin? Just stand on it though. Wouldn't look that weird. Like if Zagara could do it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe it's a depth issue.
Has shattered.
No, probably.
I will go this way.
And yeah, so good for them. That's all I say.
My
I'm a big fan of
temple's
that
power
company. The way they go about it is very cool. And yeah, let's move on. It's enough I gushed about one thing. Time I gushed about something else. So Flash Season 2 is getting some press. You haven't seen any of that, but I still maintain that it's one of the shows I've stumbled upon. And the reason I like it is it feels a lot like the Marvel movies. And like,
We should attack here.
not the best written thing in the world. It's not like the smartest movie in the world, but it really feels like a comic and the comics that I like. And in particular, like it matches what like a Flash solo series would look like as a comic. So it's got like a soap opera kind of drama. The villains with their various like stories and being introduced, like sometimes week to week, but then they'll kind of stick around.
Let's go.
Right.
Captain Cold and Professor Zoom and all those guys. Grodd. The show was actually so successful that they upped their budget and they were able to get rid of Grodd.
Right. That is cool.
And just need
That is cool. Oh, I hate that move. I made it out.
I got hit by it and then I ran forward, so
I do not think we are going to win this match because we are getting ourselves in trouble.
So season 2 is coming along, and the big tagline and way they're going about it is the Flash of Two Worlds. And yeah, bad legendary Golden Age story where they put diamonds in areas to beat the villains.
Do you think that's how they'll win?
I don't, but the last season ended, and this is gonna be a bit of a spoiler, not a huge one, with like, because it was just a little thing that happened. But the first Flash, I forget his name off the top of my head.
Wally, no.
Before
Jay
that-
Garrick.
Yeah, Jay Garrick's helmet appears out of this little portal thing, and it's
That's
that.
a good way to capture the youth of today's interest.
Oh yeah, but I thought that was really cool.
Guardian.
Very neat.
What's that, me plugging the youth of today? I'm just kidding.
Oh yeah.
We even use a gloom fountain.
Fascinating.
Well,
This fight is not gonna end well.
oh dear.
Oh, I hate that one.
We've been trapped. So I don't know. I'm looking forward to season 2. There's a lot of stuff they kind of left for season 1. Something else. But It's a very promising show, actually. I find it a lot better than Arrow. Everyone says I need to like catch up on Arrow, but I just can't get through that second season. I've
I
tried
can't
on
get the
multiple
first season. It's too sexy for me.
Yeah, like, oh, that's all drama. Flash does a good balance of like some comedy, some drama, just some straight up comic book stuff. There's the other way I can describe it, where like we're going into origins, we're doing like just weird time travel stuff. All things that should really be in a Flash TV show. So really looking forward to season 2. But that you don't know anything about that show, so we'll move on to the next one. And this one's probably the most interesting of our topics.
Gladly.
HBO is in talks with Zack Snyder to make a Watchmen TV series. On the one hand, HBO is like the only channel that about it. But they're talking with Zack Snyder. And that's probably the person who owns the rights or something for the movie release because of all the Alan Moore tobacco business.
Didn't he already screw it up once, though?
Or was it this way?
I wouldn't view it like that, but we can talk about that because
Alright,
in my eyes, like you're not gonna ever see a better version of that movie unless it's
And that's the
like,
thing about
12
that
hours long.
franchise, too, is I'm not sure it's well suited to cinema.
Choose
Well,
a
that's what
talent.
I was gonna say. Like, the movie really wouldn't be any better unless it was 12 hours long. The nice thing about that is the nature of a TV show means that it can be longer than that.
Right.
One HBO season is about 12 hours, so that's more than enough time to cover every single image of the plot.
And HBO will have no qualms with showing Dr. Manhattan's penis.
or
Choose a
anything else.
talent.
But especially Dr. Manhattan's penis. Actually, I guess Zack Snyder didn't really have any qualms with showing it either.
That he didn't, and he got a
So-
lot of flack for that.
He really got in trouble for staying true to the book?
Yeah.
That seems kind of silly in my eyes.
And I still don't. I don't think that that. I don't think it would be smart to just do a shot for shot representation of it. That's.
Oh, you mean like you did last time?
What do you mean? No.
Because that movie was so much like this, here, in this order, which didn't really make sense cinematically. I remember I saw it with two people who had never read the book or heard of the book, but like comic book movies. And at the end of it, I was just filling in the blanks for them because they were like, what happened?
Your key
Yeah.
is but ready.
There's probably a little bit.
And it's like if you had read the book, it was, oh, okay, this is this scene, you know what I mean? But well, we're getting our butts handed to us.
Marky there.
What a pick me up.
You mean your niece?
Who's ready for
adventure?
Let's go on an adventure.
Why is this every support character in this game is just lame? Completely.
Blizzard is secretly brainwashing us that like helping
Right
people
wing.
and caring for others it makes you a wuss.
Brightwing's
Or a
great,
panda.
but the voice is just terrible.
And
Malfurion is basically Illidan's hippie older brother that probably doesn't bathe.
definitely doesn't shave.
Who else is a support character?
Your core is under attack.
Uther, I guess he's like
Again, no one thinks he's cool.
that's true. I don't think
To
he's
the
cool.
Lightbringer. He hasn't been cool since Warcraft 2, and I mean, that was, what, 95, 96?
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I think HBO could do it well. The other thing to remember is it's not like Zack Snyder will be in charge of it. I'm not sure who will exactly. They'll probably find a good showrunner, but if they find the right people,
Maybe it could be you.
I don't think I'd even want to. Given that like dense story and
Want that much money?
everyone's stupid expectations. So,
Ching, ching,
yeah, I
ching.
just do it for the money.
Boom, 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 boom! Alright, I'll be your co-producer.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
We'll just ride in limos everywhere and I'll take a nap.
I'm struggling to think of someone who would be a good fit. for that,
Guardian.
but maybe whoever.
Napping me.
We're
We're
done.
done. We're done. Good game.
Oh, that boss is dead.
That boss wasn't dead. Famous last words.
So yeah, and then the only other thing I had was Kevin. Oh right, we never looked this up. Kevin will say Feig or Fiji or however you pronounce it. Mr.
Someone respond how
Marvel.
to pronounce his name.
Yeah, Mr. Marvel has had his name
Captain Marvel.
rightfully on like every Marvel movie since Iron Man, the first one, so 8 years ago, which I thought was interesting too. That came out 8 years now. He had a pretty cool interview where he was being asked about like, do you think that people are going to be sick of these comic book movies? So personally, I think that's a bit of a misnomer. Like, they've been around since the 50s and I don't think anyone ever really got sick of them. I think they just got sick of them being done a certain way. Then they kind of went into the wayside, and then somebody kind of was like, oh, if we make these good, people will want to see them.
And the thing about comic book movies is it's not really comic book movies you're making. It's just movies based on comic book characters. So you can do so many different things so many different ways. Like, who would have thought you would ever see like a mystery comic book movie? You know what I mean? Like action,
Yeah.
Obviously. But, you get things that are like mysteries. You get things that are obviously we've seen the romance drama sort of side, but you get like with the Joss Whedon sort of stuff, especially now, you get the comedy side of it. You get so many different types of movies that really now you're just taking. It's like if we were to take Sherlock Holmes or some other great American hero,
Yeah.
and now we're just making new films about them.
And I
Because let's
think,
be honest,
Oh,
the
for
stuff
sure.
happening in the Avengers film is not based on a specific comic. It's original stories.
no, at
based on
best
its
that
whole
Avengers movie is
characters.
based on like their first story, and that's very loose, which is good. It knew it needed to do its own thing, and same thing with Age of Ultron. Luckily, very little of that.
Which is
original
the same in title only.
Yeah. And that's really the only good thing they took away from it. If they had brought in some of that stuff, alternate timelines and just everyone being killed over and over again, that was everything that's wrong with like the DC movies and like Man of Steel that was in this original Age of Ultron story, and they were smart and didn't do any of that. So the Age of Ultron movie features people saving lives.
I feel like Marvel was just like, well, that movie was awful, and this was a great that book was awful, and this is a great title, so let's use it for the movie.
Yeah. Or Whedon decided, I don't know, someone did. I heard actually that Whedon had a lot of conflict during Age of Ultron. Conflict you can kind of see in the movie. Like with those random...
I heard he quit Twitter.
Yeah, he did. He's an interesting person. There's a lot of stuff I like that he's done, from Toy Story 1 to like even Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Firefly everyone likes, and rightfully so.
Who doesn't really?
Yeah, but he's had some weird comments and stuff. Like,
It'd be nice if he would just tell us what the Blue Glove guys were gonna do.
Oh right, yeah. Firefly. I had to think about that for a second.
If he would just tell us instead of just ending the story, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where's the fanfic, J-Dubs?
And I think that's part of the biggest misnomer too. Is like, and really we're talking about superhero movies, because plenty of comics can be made into movies and no one gripes about them. But all you hear from movie critics now is too much of this, too much of that. But like you were saying, like, superhero is just another word for like archetype, and that can mean anything. Like that can be Western, mystery, film noir, detective stuff, drama, comedy, sci-fi comedy, like any other kind of fusion between those two. Like you said, like romantic drama mixed, like just blockbuster trying to appeal to a bunch of people. It's all been done, and there's examples of it all being done right. Like, how cool would like a Western style movie like Old Man Logan, or I don't know, like just an alternate universe kind of thing going on? That'd be really
Right.
cool. Maybe not Jonah Hex. That has a bad name now because they already screwed that up once, and nobody even remembers.
But it had a cool soundtrack.
And Megan Fox.
Oh right, she was in that.
So, and his response was basically along those lines. Like, he's like, oh, like, a Western lasted, like, Westerns as a phase lasted 40 to 50 years and they still pop up, which is true of comics, really, as well. And he's like, people have been asking me this for 15 years, after there was, like, 2 and 3, and he still kind of feels the same way. He's a really interesting guy, actually. He had a recent,
Arden
dust
hit
up.
ready.
Okay. I was just gonna kind of finish this up before
Oh,
bother to.
sorry.
Yeah, just because like it's the last thing, rather than us film a whole round and try and think of something to say, I was just gonna finish our video and then we'll.
Well, boy, did I screw that up being natural and
Oh yeah.
cohesive.
But I think that's true though. Like, it's got a not even necessarily a bright future, but I think it's just part of our culture, and it's kind of always been. I think they just haven't been tapping into it as much as they could have been. But like comic book movies were big in the '90s too. They were big in the '70s. They were big in the '50s. Like it'll kind of come and go in phases, but it's always been around. Obviously, we're gonna be a little biased when we say that, but and oh yeah, like I was saying, like Fiji's a really interesting guy, or Kevin Feige, or however you say his name. Like he had a pretty interesting dust up with Marvel recently. I don't know if you heard about this, but basically, his boss, who's some like bigwig in Disney, is kind of the reason that a lot of the Marvel movies look a little cheap, because he just never wanted to spend money on them. Like it was always just the bare minimum in terms of spending stuff, and they still consistently managed to make it look good. And they finally got into a huge fight over like Age of Ultron, because that one had a budget and like was doing all these extra things and all this stuff. And eventually, like it just got to a point where he threatened to quit. So now he reports like to the CEO, or like the head of like Disney's creative department. Like so he basically just got like moved up and around him, like the guy who was giving him problems. So that's great of Disney, and it just shows like that he's a businessman and he wants to make money, but he does have a vision and he does seem to care. And you know, he's the common thread between all these Marvel movies, and they're not all fantastic, but they're all watchable. And that's, I think we talked about this on the last one, but that's a big difference. So, and I don't mean to just I don't really worship the guy. He's done a lot of weird stuff, and I do still
You have
think,
a poster of him on your wall.
of course, and a shrine. But he and like there was the dust up over Ant-Man and several other things, like Edward Norton leaving the franchise, but he's kept it on course in spite of all this, and he's done like a Guardians of the Galaxy movie. I think out of everyone on the planet, he's probably the most to thank for that movie ever existing, and that's pretty cool that like Rocket Raccoon became a household name overnight because of that, and so did Groot and Star-Lord and all those guys. And they can probably do the same for like Adam Warlock, Moondragon, and all the other cosmic
Let's
friends.
hope.
I assume that's the game plan. Just like the Avengers, they'll start adding people here and there, you know, shedding some as they go along, kind of, not even shedding, but like, you know, you need drama, you need stakes. So and that's the nice thing about a team, is you can kind of rotate people in and out, especially as cast members change. Which they still haven't really hit that road bump yet, but
It's coming.
it's coming. Well, and the other thing they're doing that's really smart is like there's no Iron Man 4 on the horizon, unless you count like Civil War, which I don't really. I think Tony's going to play a bit of a different role there. And that like, but they're talking about like what are they focusing on now? It's like Doctor Strange, Captain Marvel, all of those characters, all like their phase 3, which is interesting. So they're not just hammering the same thing over and over again like every other studio. I was gonna like single out DC for a second there, but I thought about it for a second. Like, well, let's not pretend that Sony and Fox are not free from this. But Like, here's the comparison I think. Like, could you imagine if Marvel was just like, all right, we're gonna reboot the Avengers and bring like Loki back as the main villain? And that sounds like silly, but that's exactly what DC would do.
Over and over.
Over and over. Just Joker and Batman, 100 times. 100
Joker,
days.
Joker. Ra's al Ghul.
Or Sony with like Green Goblin and Venom and Venom they've only done once, but
It's important to do the Green Goblin over and over and over and over.
yeah. Yeah. See, I'm just sick of it when you said that. And that's part of the problem with whatever Sony does next. I'm at least a little more hopeful that Marvel's like kind of somehow gotten their tentacles around it to a degree, but I don't know. I just can't sit through another. At this point, it's pretty safe to say I think most people know how Peter Parker became Spider-Man.
No one knows.
And if I see that one more
It
time,
is a mystery. I think it was a satellite signal.
yeah. Everyone says how that like Amazing Spider-Man reboot was like pretty good, and they defend.
Because he
it.
skateboarded.
Honestly, I can't.
That's
sit,
what it was. People just saw a skateboard and were like, "Holy moly, this is cool."
I suppose. Honestly, I just can't sit through it. Like it's just so.
Andrew
I don't
Garfield's
see
hair
it.
isn't great. You don't think it's the best? The bee's knees?
I actually think he was okay as a Peter Parker, but I don't like either of his movies because it's
I think he was good as a pediatrician.
a pediatrician. He is too old. At least the new guy looks young. That's probably their greatest advantage is they have someone that actually looks like a teenager for the first time ever.
Ever.
Well, because Tobey Maguire looked like a friggin'...
Since Saved by the Bell.
Tobey Maguire still looks older than me. And I'm 25. And he looks like when he was playing a 16-year-old, he looks older than I do now. Because I'm pretty sure he was about my age when he played that part. He's 40 now.
He was 40 then.
He's 40 then. He's 60 now. I don't know. It's like when Burt Ward was playing Robin. It's like, okay. At least that worked.
You know who should play Spider-Man? Ozzy Osbourne.
It would be funny if they got someone like preposterous.
Ozzy Osbourne.
And
It'd
didn't
be
even
perfect.
address it. Just
Oh, all right, guys. How's it going?
he'd die halfway through the shoot.
It'd be great.
It'd be great.
It'd make just about as much sense as Spider-Man 2.
It'd be a good twist.
Why did the actor change suddenly? Who knows?
That. So, in conclusion, comic book movies will be around forever. Film critics can suck it.
And don't forget to like, subscribe, and keep reading comics.
Yep.